Hello and welcome to a new episode of New Gameplay Today. I'm not Jeff Cork, I'm Ben Hanson, a guest host this time around. I'm here with, how does he introduce you? Little boy buddy Leo Vader in the booth?
He makes a joke about how they finally got me, you know, like I was finally available, so if you want to do that.
Oh, yeah, we got busy boy Leo Vader. We dragged him in here kicking and screaming. Welcome, sir.
Hey, Jeff.
And then we're also joined by an eagle and Matt Miller.
Here I am.
What are we looking at, Miller?
Well, this is a new Assassin's Creed game. As you can see, it's set in ancient Egypt. No, this is Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered.
I thought it was Rouge. Fantastic.
It's not Rouge. It is
Rouge
in fact,
Remastered.
Rouge Remastered is a totally different game. They're still working on that one. Rogue Remaster is the new version of the least known of the mainline Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah, not counting Chronicles, maybe.
Yeah, well, I don't think think that that's really a mainline game, right?
Okay.
This was a game that came out on a system that was kind of out of date when it came out. It was a very strange choice by Ubisoft because they had another Assassin's Creed game coming out around the same time.
There's Assassin's Creed Unity,
Yeah.
and then they released Rogue on PS3 and Xbox
And
the
so-
same day.
It was really odd, and so a lot of people didn't play this game, which is too bad.
Did you review this for us back in the day?
I think, gosh, I don't remember who reviewed this game. I played this game back in the day. I kind of think I was on this review.
Okay.
And it was really good. It's kind of like a lot of people say that Black Flag is their favorite Assassin's Creed game.
Controversial, but I feel like that opinion has been growing since that game's
I
released.
think a lot of people love that game. It is not, for the record, my favorite Assassin's Creed game, but I like it a lot. And this is basically a sequel.
It's a snowy Black Flag.
It's a snowy Black Flag, but it's got its own kind of interesting story. It uses a lot of the dynamics of combat and ship navigation and ship combat and exploration that you'd recognize from Black Flag if you ever played that game.
Absolutely.
But story-wise, it's certainly the darkest of the Assassin's Creed games because it follows a guy who starts out as an assassin.
Brian Shea here?
That's right. Brian Shea Cormac, I think is his name. Let's look at this pretty. So I'm gonna do a little synchronization here. It follows this guy as he is moving from at the beginning of the game. He's sort of a young assassin, and he goes bad. I mean,
Ooh, little Anakin.
yeah. It actually has a lot of kind of Anakin notes to it, I would say.
Do they pull it off smoothly?
I think they pull it off pretty well. It has a greater nuance to the goodness and the evilness of the Assassins and the Templars in this installment than in most of the other ones.
Okay.
Which, maybe that appeals to you, maybe it doesn't, but the gameplay totally holds up. And I would also say for it that it... for people who maybe, like me, had some issues with changes that they made in Assassin's Creed Origins to the things like combat,
Leo, love the changes, but
I think a lot of people love the changes. But I am a great fan of the old kind of counter rhythm-based combat that typified the earlier games in the series.
yeah.
And here you have a chance, if you never played Rogue, to go in and have that experience again, even if you've already been enjoying Origins. And kind of go back to that old style of gameplay.
Back when it was
like,
good.
That seems like the weird choice that they made is remind people what the game used to be like when they spent so much time trying to reinvent it.
I would agree that seems strange, but on the other hand, it does feel like this is a response to a fan demand for a long time.
Totally get it.
A lot of people always wanted to play this game, but they maybe had already gotten rid of their old system, or they just never got around to it. And here you have a chance with some great visual upgrades
Now,
to play this cool game in the series.
do you know the stats on how they've updated the visuals? Like playing the original, this doesn't look crazy enhanced, but is it one of those once you see it side by side, you can really tell the impact?
I don't know. I mean, that game wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
And I can tell the difference, but I don't think it's profoundly different. And neither would I necessarily recommend this remastered version to somebody who already played through Rogue and was like, that was a good Assassin's Creed game. You know,
Yeah.
like that's not who this release is for. This is a way to play Rogue if you never played it, but have it look good, right? Like they've updated the lighting and the shadows. They've updated the textures on everything, including in the environments. There's higher crowd densities in the cities.
Do they have a lot of cities in this game?
Well, you go to New York.
Really?
Yeah, you do.
Hey, is it the same from 3?
No, well, it's kind of like different because it's a different time period.
Can you see stand-up like in GTA 4?
Can you go bowling with Ricky Gervais?
I think you can go bowling with Ricky Gervais, but they haven't included all that other stuff quite yet. There
he goes again.
Let's see if I can get this guy.
Oh boy, these redcoats.
Yeah, these children.
Oh. Fun fact, Miller, they made their coats red so that you couldn't see them bleeding.
Uh-huh.
And then it was like, this army's invincible. I can't tell if they're blood or not.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
That's a great story.
Miller, I fear you just got outdone with an old history buff over here.
I did. A really important piece of information too. That's what's cool about it.
Yeah. Piece of cake.
So yeah, I think it looks good. It doesn't. Is it look as good as Assassin's Creed Origins? No. Of
course
Assassin's
not.
Creed Origins is amazing looking. It has probably the best setting in the whole series, maybe.
Yeah.
We showed those guys.
Pretty casual with your manslaughter, Miller.
Listen, sometimes the redcoats gotta die, is all I'm saying.
Jesus Christ.
This is in the history of the Assassin's Creed franchise. This one, oh, you like that? You like what I did just there?
Now,
Look
at
at
this
that.
point, you're Karam Brimdor?
That's right.
Okay.
Something like that. I think that's right. So, I think there's some weird visual glitching going on right there. Look at that. That's kind of weird.
Oh, I think that's how it's supposed to be.
It's
when
nice
you mark
that-
people through Eagle Vision. It's weird, but I think that is
Are you serious?
intended. Yeah,
No.
I swear I remember that.
These are
Okay.
HD glitches, Leo. You got to learn to accept it.
Okay.
Well, he's going to be dead soon anyway, so it's all good.
Oh, that was George Washington, you idiot! Or whatever time
I've
this
changed
is.
time. So yeah, I this kind of happens in an interesting moment in the Assassin's Creed fiction, during which it's like after Assassin's Creed 3 in the chronology. It's before Assassin's Creed 3 in the chronology. It is after Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Okay.
And interestingly, it does sort of bridge the gap in what is sometimes referred to as the American saga of Assassin's Creed.
Including Liberation?
Yeah, Liberation is part of that too. You have in this story a lot of things that kind of wrap up those separate stories. For instance, in Assassin's Creed 3, you play Connor, and Connor's got a mentor, Achilles.
That's right.
Who lives in a manor all by himself, and he's kind of dejected and alone. And
The
unhappy.
Yoda in
The
a mansion.
Yoda character, right? And you never really get a full explanation of like, well, what happened to the rest of the assassins in this area? Like, what went down? This is the game that answers that question.
Oh, cool.
Likewise, at the end of Assassin's Creed Black Flag and its big DLC Freedom Cry, where you played Adewale.
Love that.
That guy, he was super awesome.
Miller, you didn't pause when you said that name, which is amazing.
Sorry. You go through, and in this story, you get some conclusion to Adewale's story, which is really cool. This is, it's literally like right in between those two timelines. This is also the game that notably had some really cool. Had one in particular especially cool scene that is sort of the linchpin
No
scene of the
spoilers.
story. I won't spoil it,
Okay.
but I will say that like it really is one of the coolest moments in the whole franchise.
Wow.
In terms of just big momentous events where they look to a particular real thing that happened in history.
The moon landing.
The moon landing of the 1750s. There's a big event that happens in
Templars!
There's a big event that happened in Lisbon during this time period, and we actually get to kind of witness that firsthand. And it is a really important turning point in understanding this tale of this guy who, at the beginning, is on board with the assassins, and then eventually is like has some problems with what the assassin's philosophy has led him to.
And if you care less about the overall story and big moments, it also has the big moments of correct me if I'm wrong, but I was on the coverstory trip for this one.
Yeah.
I think there's narwhals in this game, are there not?
I think you're right.
And that's really cool.
It has been a long time since I played this game, so I cannot remember the specifics of narwhals. It's weird that they didn't call that out in the press release, I admit.
That's all they should, like every trailer should just be
been about
narwhal
the narwhals.
focused. Also, there's penguins that like slide off little icebergs.
Yeah,
away from you and
that's pretty
stuff.
cool.
One of my favorite fantasy creatures.
The game, like Black Flag, you're going between different locales. Here, there's several distinct sort of environment areas that you're having to consider and getting to explore. You're in the North Atlantic at times, which this is what the North Atlantic looks like.
Come on by.
You also go through the Hudson River Valley.
Oh, that's really cool.
Which is really cool. So you're sort of navigating these big, these narrow riverways.
Yeah.
That have been really interestingly recreated. And then you also have this version of New York that you're going to see, where if you've played Assassin's Creed 3, there's something kind of fun about like, okay, we're going to see it at a slightly different time.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
Reusing assets, but in a fun way.
In a fun way, exactly.
And also, it'd be interesting. I don't know if they've said when Skull and Bones is coming out, if it's this year, but it's a nice way of kind of refreshing yourself on ship mechanics before Ubisoft's big ship game comes out.
Absolutely. I mean, I was always a fan of this ship combat. It never was especially complicated or anything, but it's just fun.
Yeah.
You're navigating around, and the waves are pushing you up and down, and
Boarding ships is really fun.
And there's just a bunch of really cool things.
It's complicated enough.
It is, and again, like I said, this is basically a sequel to Black Flag. So if you liked that, the focus on ship combat and how much you were spending time on the ship in that game, I think you'd be really pleased with what you see in Rogue here.
Now, Leo, I need to quiz you on this.
Okay.
How many Assassin's Creed games are available on current gen consoles?
3?
I don't know the answer, but I think you're wrong. Okay, let's think about it, right?
2.
Okay, so the 2 Revelations and Brotherhood all are, right? In the remaster.
Oh, right.
With the freaky polygon
The
video.
Ezio collection.
Ezio collection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine.
4 is...
Mhm.
Yep, Unity, obviously. So are we only missing 1? Liberation isn't, right?
They remastered it.
But
I don't-
for current gen or
I don't
last
know.
gen?
What about
PC.
Syndicate? Did you include Syndicate?
Yeah. All those biggies.
Okay.
What about the freaks? What about the outliers? Give us the nitty gritty on the
Assassin's
freaks.
Creed Chronicles, China?
There's the Chronicle stuff.
Yeah. But Liberation, is that? I don't think it is.
Well, there was Liberation HD that came out. I don't remember when that
I
was.
think it was last gen. Correct me if we're wrong, comments. If you
What?
feel like it.
What is their point?
It's cool that almost the entire series is playable on your system.
There's a lot of I think they've given lots of ways for people to get into the backdrop of the series.
Yeah.
This is the last thing I want.
Is the modern age? We were just on a pirate ship.
You were all going on.
What's happening?
You're going on about the crazy, trying to quiz us about how many games are on the system. While that happened, we left the pirate age, and I want to show you one last thing here, which is that. Sadly, Rogue is yet another entry in the Assassin's Creed franchise that goes along what I always thought was just the most misguided path with the modern day stuff.
Leo,
which
you
is-
with me? It's very fun, right? The video game development stuff.
I hate
I
the
liked it.
development studio stuff.
As Leo proudly proclaims about everything bad, I liked it.
I don't think this was good. I don't think it was a good decision. This is what they do with the modern day stuff: is you're wandering around Abstergo Entertainment, which is like the weird stand-in for Ubisoft.
Right.
Right.
The evil Ubisoft.
Evil Ubisoft, because Ubisoft is not evil. Let's be real clear about that, right?
Unclear, but there's
Unclear.
rumors that it's not evil.
There's
Yeah.
rumors it's not evil. And you're doing stuff like walking around offices and stuff. I don't know. It
But
doesn't
it's
do
funny
it
because
for
you
me.
see like them developing. Don't they have like code for like Assassin's Creed 3 and stuff
there's
like on
some
the
of that.
computers?
There's some of that, but it just. I'll tell you what my problem was with this whole side trek here is that I felt like it distracted significantly from the momentum of the larger modern day story of the conflict between the assassins and the Templars and this ragtag group of kind of rebel assassins who are on the run all the time.
Yeah, I hate to cut you off, though, Miller. I mean, she does have a power button on her shirt, so it's kind of like 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Don't press that though.
So I don't know. That's what I can tell you about Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered. I really think if you haven't played this game and you're a big AC person, I think you'd get a kick out of it.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good as a remastered version. I played through some distance into the game, and I haven't encountered anything right off the bat that struck me as like, oh, that's screwed up. In fact, the only thing I have seen that didn't look great was what we saw earlier, which was that kind of weird.
And Leo's going to his grave saying that was
that's
intentional.
the way that it's supposed to be. So maybe he's right.
Kill me early if that's wrong. Go to my grave today.
So from here on out, it's going to just be wandering around Abstergo for a while. So it might be an appropriate time to say a fond farewell. But that's what I can tell you about Assassin's Creed.
And what a screen to leave us off with, Miller.
There she is.
Miller,
we're walking around.
Thank you so much for showing us this game. It's cool to have on a modern console, so definitely check it out. It's coming out. It's coming out this week.
Yeah, it comes out March 20th.
There we go. Check it out. Thanks, Miller. Thanks, Leo.
Yep.
Bye.
I can't let you in here. I suggest you move along.